Hi everyone, my name is Rachel. I am a therapist, I'm a mindfulness teacher, I'm a human living in a pandemic. I'm also a cat mum, but she's at home. And I am here to tell you that you are not alone. And for once, I'm not alone either because I'm here with Mark, who is my colleague at Mindful Therapies. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Rachel.
And so every day during the second lockdown of 2020, I have been doing a little video on my own of my own musings and wafflings on the strange times that we are in. And today, on the final one of this particular lockdown, I don't know if it's going to be the last lockdown, but this particular lockdown, I'm accompanied by Mark. So, and we haven't planned, I don't plan, we don't script. Surprise, surprise, don't laugh. You can laugh if you want to laugh. I have been sharing tips and things. I wanted to ask you, Mark, what tips do you have for not feeling, for managing the sense of isolation that people might feel during lockdown?
Isolation. Well, that's an interesting question. It's a good question. I suppose I haven't felt the same level of isolation as you have because I live with my wife, and for a big chunk of the pandemic, both my kids were at home as well. They're not now, but I think the way that I deal with any element of isolation, because that brings its own things when you're with one person all the time and stuff like that, is trying to maintain contact in as many ways as I can. So, we work together, we come in here, so I see you, and you're part of our bubble in case we come around the house. But also, I think just technology, so many people have tried to pull away from technology. And yes, there are things about Facebook and things that can be problematic, but it's also a wonderful way to stay connected. We can't necessarily be in person with each other, but we can communicate, we can contact. So I've tried as best I can to stay in contact with people, to contact friends, to contact family, and yeah, just to keep that connection going for when we can get together again. It's not forgetting that there are other people out there. And also, I suppose the other big thing, and you're tying it into you are not alone, we are not alone, we're all going through this together. And how it affects each of us is different, but it's affecting all of us.
I like to think that we're not all in the same boat, but we're all in a boat.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. So yeah, that's how I probably deal with the isolation, is remembering that I'm not alone, that there are other people going through and feeling the same way that I am, and other people who are going through the same thing and feeling totally different.
Are there any particular meditations that you think would be helpful for someone who is struggling in whatever way with lockdown, or coming out of lockdown as we are coming out into tier 3? What kind of meditations would you suggest?
I think mindful movement for me has been probably the one that I've probably gone to the most, mainly because the traditional breathing and body scans and stuff, there's so much going on that sometimes that thoughts and emotions take over. Whereas when I do mindful movement, when I'm moving with the breath, so I'm focusing my attention on the breath and on the physical sensations of the movement, it doesn't leave a lot of space for those intrusive thoughts. But also, I think the kindness meditation, which is often such a challenging and difficult meditation, but the full loving kindness practice, where you can open out to everyone and feel that connection and allow that connection to be. What about yourself?
Well, I've done this for the last 27 days. I've shared my tips and things.
True.
I've been, the last week or so, I've been doing a lot of kindness. And I really like mindful movement as well. And this morning, so this is recorded on the 1st of December, this morning I opened my well-being advent calendar.
Oh yes, yeah.
And my first task, it was kind of a mixture of slightly embarrassing and also possibly a perfect one in some ways. So my task for today, which I hadn't planned, I didn't know which one it was going to be, was something about reminding myself about how awesome I am. So it was affirmations. So I did a little video about my affirmations. So I had to think on the spot of things that I was semi-comfortable sharing about, thinking, yeah, I'm awesome because, oh. So that was an interesting one. But yeah, even if I don't 100% always believe it, saying it makes an impact.
That actually, yeah, I suppose the other big thing, the other thing in terms of what this whole lockdown tiers, all that sort of stuff, there are restrictions, and sometimes days can seem to meld into one. And I think setting an intention, when you talked about affirmations and not always believing it, setting an intention for how you want to be each day, and be kind to yourself. If you want to be, if today you set an intention to do very little, to just slob around, watch every episode of the newest thing on Netflix, that's okay. But
Finished Netflix now. I've watched it all.
The whole of Netflix.
Yeah, it's all done.
Well, there's Amazon Prime and there's Disney and there's other streaming services available. But yeah, if you choose, just set an intention for how you want to be today, and it doesn't have to be anything grand.
So we've both mentioned mindful movements.
Mm-hmm.
Just going to spring on you.
Okay.
Could you leave some, please? Just a little bit.
Yes.
That would have been really awkward if you said
it
no.
It would have been, but I'm actually going to lead is a centering exercise that has some movement in it.
Ooh.
Because this is another practice that I've been doing almost on a daily basis for the last, certainly last 2 weeks.
You can tell how much we talk, normally.
Yeah, just to get the day started in the right frame. I use this to then set my intention. So I've changed the end bit a little bit. We're going to sit. We're going to sit because I'm also aware that we spend a lot of time sitting in front of screens at the minute, and bringing this practice, I like to think that everything we do, we try to make it real and practical for people, and a lot of people are sitting at the minute.
Well, I need to move my arms.
You will.
Shall I move my chair back?
You can, or you can move it in I'll move my chair back. I'll move my chair. So finding a comfortable, relaxed sitting position with your feet flat on the ground, your hands gently resting on your lap and your back fairly upright. And just starting by taking your attention down to the feet. Just noticing sensations in the feet. And just gently scanning up through the body, noticing sensations in the shins, calves. Noticing the contact with the hands and the knees. Noticing the connection with the sit bones on the chair, on the seat. And you'll be noticing the subtle movements in the body as the body breathes. There are gentle rise and fall of the abdomen. And with the next in-breath, just imagine a golden thread running up through the centre of the spine, up to the neck, up to the crown of the head. And imagine that thread just gently lifting you taller, just straightening and lengthening the spine, just gently lifting you towards the ceiling. This is your length, your place. This is your right to be here. Notice how long you feel right now. With the next in-breath, bring both arms up to shoulder height, out to the sides, stretching fingers out to the left and to the right. Maybe imagine branches like the branches of a vine stretching off into the distance. Stretching those fingers out, and this is your width, your reach, your influence here. This is everything you do, everything you say, every action, every interaction. This is your width. Notice how wide you feel right now. And bring your hands down. You're holding on to the side of the chair. If you're sitting on the floor, placing the palms flat on the ground. And bring your attention now to the points of contact with the ground and the chair. Just feeling that connection. Imagine roots growing down deep into the ground from the feet, from the sit bones, into the chair and into the ground. Becoming one with the ground. This is your depth. This is everything and everyone that supports you in this world. This is all of your friends and your loved ones, your teachers and your mentors, your heroes and people who inspire you. And this is all of your education, your learning, your experience, all of your experiences. This is your depth. This is everything that supports you, everyone that supports you. Notice how deep you feel right now. And taking 3 deep breaths. Setting an intention for how you want to be today. Imagine what it would be like if you were this way right now. Repeating it to yourself in the present tense. 3 times. And giving thanks, letting go of any effort as we bring this practice to a close.
Give that. Well, thank you. So any final thoughts before we say goodbye to this particular lockdown and this particular series of...
Just that we're never alone.
Scary thought.
We can isolate ourselves, but there are always people we can reach out to.
So thank you very much for joining me and joining Kim. And remember, you're not alone. Bye.
Bye.